Kevin Durant was just traded to the Houston Rockets today for Jalen Green, Dylan Brooks, the 10th overall pick in the 2025 draft, and 5 second-round picks. Now, to me, it seems like it just makes sense at this point in his career after multiple different teams, trade situations, always something coming up with a team here or there. It kind of just makes sense that the latest Kevin Durant trade is on the eve of the first Game 7 in 9 years tonight. And I mean, well, what a trade for the Houston Rockets, who honestly, this is more of a win in the fact that they got rid of Jalen Green. I don't want to be the biggest Jalen Green hater, but I think a lot of the Houston Rockets fans have been quite over the Jalen Green experience, especially after this last playoff run, where it was like, okay, we finally made the playoffs with this 50-win team, this defensive team. Jalen Green has been a bit up and down in the entire season, as he always is, as he is in his career. And then in the playoffs, we got 13 points per game, and it actually more represents games where he had 7 points, 9 points, 8 points, 8 points in Game 7, 12, 11, and then one game that he had 38. If you remove that 38 game, I'm sure his averages are closer to under 10 than above 10. But again, not to harp on Jalen Green being a poor basketball player, I just want to highlight the fact that this is a Houston Rockets team that already made the playoffs, is loaded with Şengün, with Amen Thompson, with Jabari Smith Jr., with a bunch of young guys like Ben Shepherd and Cam Whitmore and all that, who those guys haven't even had much opportunity to really play. But you already got a all-star like Şengün, Jabari, who has yet to really blow up, and then Amen Thompson, who kind of has blown up a little bit this past season with just his defensive prowess. I'm sure he was first team All-NBA, defensive first team All-NBA, or second team. I don't remember exactly. But you have this core of guys who it felt like they were really close. Like they worked together, but offensively, we definitely saw against a good defensive team like the Warriors how they can really struggle, and just every single game became a rock fight. Like, we cannot get consistent, reliable offense outside of a Şengün post-up. Amen Thompson, while had a great season, was limited somewhat offensively in terms of they were letting him shoot and he was not making shots. They were letting him drive and there was some clunky possessions here and there. And in general, the Houston Rockets had multiple clunky offensive games. And you got a guy, Jalen Green, who you drafted, who just isn't really helping in any of these games outside of Game 2 when he had 38 points. Like, his whole deal has been how just of an inconsistent shot maker, shot creator he is in terms of his drives, in terms of the three-point shooting and pull-up shooting and all that. He's just been inconsistent. And now you replace that guy, as well as Dylan Brooks, who is obviously a big part of their defense as well, but you replace those two guys for Kevin freaking Durant, a 26 point per game scorer who has just been the epitome of efficient offensive game for his entire career, but especially the last few years, where he is just automatic, like every single night. Like, again, 26 points per game at 36 years old, shooting over 50% and 40% from three. Like, this is just a guy who knows how to score, and it's undeniable his skill in that sense. And you're just putting him on a team where he has a bunch of young guys, a bunch of defensive guys. You got Fred VanVleet, who can orchestrate the offense. You got Şengün, who can make a lot of passes and can also be a scoring hub himself. You got Amen Thompson, like I said, defensive monster and juggernaut who can make plays offensively, and he's still improving offensively, and defensively he's already maybe one of the most athletic and one of the best defenders in the league. And you're just adding Kevin Durant, 6'11" Kevin Durant, and just telling him like, hey man, we desperately needed an injection of your type of offense, where if we are stuck in the mud like this, if we can't hit a three, whatever, we'll give it to you. We'll hit you with a Şengün and KD pick and roll, even an Amen Thompson, KD pick and roll, even a Fred VanVleet, Thompson, or Fred VanVleet and KD pick and roll, dribble handoff with Şengün and KD, or with Amen cuts off of that. KD acting as, just having that type of offensive player on your side of the court will open up things for Amen to get easier drives, for Şengün obviously to not be doubled as much in the paint. And if he is, he's obviously able to make the pass and get the ball to a guy like KD. And then these young guys like Cam Whitmore, Ben Shepherd, I believe his name is Ben. I forgot right now. But you still have a bunch of guys that you didn't trade any of those guys. What I'm saying is this is an A plus trade for Houston, who also have the 2027 and 2029 picks of the Phoenix Suns. I believe everybody, when all this KD stuff happened with the trade rumors, like, we knew KD was going to get traded from the Suns, and the Suns, who are in just a horrid place right now in their future, who do not have control of their draft picks, which is one of the worst places you could be in the NBA when you don't have control of your future and you have a team that is nowhere close to contention at this point. Nowhere close. They didn't make the playoffs this past season with KD and Booker and Beal. And now you get rid of KD, and now you have like 4 shooting guards having 92% of your cap. You got Devin Booker making $50 million. You got Bradley Beal in his horrific contract making $50 million. You got Jalen Green, who just starts his new extension, $33 million. I mean, obviously this 3 pairing of just shooting guards doesn't work or make sense at all. It feels like they have to trade Jalen Green somewhere else eventually. There was reports that they were trying to do that, and then there was reports afterwards that they're going to keep Jalen Green. I think that's just because nobody really wants him at this point. Like, we all saw how inconsistent he is, and although he is quite young, like, it is what it is. With a contract that big, you're expected to be much more effective and efficient than he is. And yeah, for the Rockets, this is an A++. Like I said, they get an amazing veteran offensive player like this, like Kevin Durant, who can also still defend, and shown in Phoenix, like the first 20 or so games, he was in my MVP like consideration, like as a dark horse, because he was just playing so well. He was playing defense, but it's more of a matter of just like, okay, how hard am I really gonna try on defense when we can see the writing on the wall that this team is gonna suck, and it does suck. And yeah, I mean, they basically gave up one of the guys who just, it didn't seem like it was gonna work out on their team. Had just such a way too big of a contract for it to really work in the long term, and you don't even give up all of Phoenix's picks back to them. Like, you keep 2027 and 2029. Like, this is just an amazing trade for the Houston Rockets, who, again, give up very little in terms of super, great pieces. Like, Jalen Green wasn't really a great piece to anybody else, as we're going to see when he's on the Sun, who the Suns are going to try and get rid of him. And yeah, man, the Suns, they're a mess. Who knows when they'll be not a mess anymore? Maybe in like 5 years they'll be normal, but even then, what's next with Booker? Is he gonna stay? I don't know. We'll see.